Hello everybody, we'll just wait a few minutes. Hi Hayley. Hi Steph. Lovely to see you guys. We're just waiting to see who's jumping on. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Hi Sam. So nice to have you guys. Yay! Isn't this fun? This is so fun. Hope everyone's had a lovely weekend. This weather in Perth, if you're in Perth, it's amazing. Now give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, if it's clear and you see me all right. And we'll just wait a little bit longer and we'll jump right in. Hi Rach, happy to be here. I'm happy you're here. This is so fun. I'm so excited. It's like connecting with people, yes. Other than the people in the household. So we'll just wait a little bit longer, then we can jump in. Everyone have a lovely weekend. This weather, oh, it's just glorious. Absolutely glorious. Now, I just have to see how this chat thing works. Nope. Okay. Not sure how long I should wait. Maybe I'll wait a few more minutes and then we can get into it. I feel like I need some like music or something. Music, wine, why not? It's Sunday. Any day, really. Okay. So today I will be talking about or sharing 3 practical steps to truly find yourself and find your confidence. So I'm super excited about this topic. Really anything to do with mental health I'm just so passionate about. Oh, the sunshine in Perth, isn't it amazing? Oh, I went for a walk along the coast today and just so wanted to go for a surf, but then it was just closing out and there was hundreds of people and it was nice to have that, you know, I wanted to dive in but couldn't because it'd just be too hectic really. Good to get in the water though. Anyone else go for a swim today or down to the beach? If you're in Perth, I'm not sure what it's like in the other states. So, shall we dive in? I think we should. Is everyone good if I dive straight in there? Straight, lots to talk about. Anyone that knows me knows I like to have a chat. Especially around this topic, love it. Love helping people around mental health. It's just what I'm super, super passionate about. So, I'm Lou Fitzpatrick. I'm from Perth, WA, and I'm a mum of 2 boys, and I'm a mental health motivator for the Anxiety Project. I just want to start by saying a huge thank you to everyone at Happiness Co and Happiness Aid Live. Like, I know how much work has gone into this and it's just huge, and you guys, what you're doing and giving back to the community is just massive. So I feel very, very, very grateful to be here and to be here helping and supporting everyone through this hard time. So a big thank you. I just think it's, I love seeing initiatives like this, everyone coming together and just supporting each other. It makes me so excited to see that there's so much kindness and love and, doesn't it light you up? It lights me the fuck up. It does. It just makes me all like warm and fuzzy inside and just like, yes, reason to celebrate is stuff like this. As bad as what's going on out in the world, seeing initiatives like this is just so beautiful. So a big, big thank you to everyone who's behind it, and Julian for starting Happiness Co. It's just such an incredible, just an incredible initiative. What he's doing and what the team's doing. So a big thank you. It's just beautiful. Now, during what I'm talking about tonight, which is about finding yourself, which is about finding your confidence, if there's anything that comes up, please ask away. Otherwise, if there's questions at the end, I can talk about that. But please, I'm an open book, a full open book. I do swear a bit, so if you've got it on speaker and you've got kids around, just a heads up. I swear a bit. I swear quite a lot, actually. So please know that is, what do you call it? Like a censor? Warning! And the things that I'm going to be covering tonight, I will also be providing some downloadables for you guys. So I'll put that in the comments later. So I'll refer to them, and I've created like a worksheet so that you can take away and I don't know, just something to take away, to print off and to action after what I've talked about. So I hope that helps. I know myself, I'm a very visual, hands-on person, so it helps me really. Hi Tara, lovely to see you here. Yeah, I'm just a big hands-on person, and sometimes if I walk away from webinars or training, I walk out of the room and it's just like, oh my god, what was that? I need some reference. Give me a reference. So I will be putting some links up a bit later on, so you guys can come back and download them. So there'll be 2 printables. And so today, I'm going to share with you my journey and where the Anxiety Project started, how it started, and why I'm doing this. And for you guys, I know that whether you're a mum or not, but there's so much, disclaimer, thank you Ross. That's the word I was looking for. Disclaimer, I swear a bit. So yeah, you guys will walk away whatever you want to walk away, because every single one of us is so different. And I may be talking through my story, and things are going to resonate. Some things may, some things might not. But what you can do is take what resonates for you, take it away and sit on it. It's all about a new perspective. I'm going to be giving you a fresh perspective on anxiety, on my journey with anxiety. I had a 20-year battle with anxiety, and it sucked balls, like big time. And I've got this new perspective about anxiety, and I hope that you guys tonight can walk away with that new perspective and something to think about. We're going to talk about a practical exercise that you can do to find the shit that lights you up, find you're happy, and something that I've used so much, because we do sometimes get clouded by what's happening out there, and you kind of forget what lights you up, because you're stuck in this cycle of anxiety, right? So you actually don't get time to stop, because when you've got anxiety, it's just a constant circle of shit going on in your head. So the other thing is going to be talking about how to get really honest with yourself, like really, really honest with yourself. That was the biggest thing that I learned through my journey battling with anxiety, is in order for me to overcome that, it's about getting honest with myself. So I'll give you guys some tips that you can take away and use to help you in your journey in mental health. So where did the Anxiety Project come from? I didn't realise how long I'd been suffering with anxiety. I think a lot of people, they don't realise they've got anxiety, or how bad anxiety is actually affecting their lives. I got to a point at the end of at the start of 2018 where I was at breaking point. I was at a point where I didn't even know, I was lost. I was so lost. I didn't know who I was. I was just absolutely lost. I was just churning. I was exhausted, and I had been through 9 years of therapy. And it started off where I actually got to a really, really, really bad place and into a deep spiral of depression. And every time I think about it, I get bloody emotional. But this was maybe 10 years or 12 years ago. And I got to a point where I couldn't actually feel. I would cry every day. I didn't want to see anyone. And, my partner at the time said, what's wrong with you? What's going on? Why are you upset? And I didn't know. I actually didn't know what was wrong with me. And I said, I actually can't feel. I don't have a fucking clue what's wrong. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm not upset. I just don't feel. And at that point, I was just like, I need to get some help, because from a feelings person, I'm like super feelings. I feel all the things. I talk about all the things. But I couldn't feel. And I knew at that point, I was like, I need some help. And I went to the GP and I got a mental health plan, and I went to the psychologist, and my journey started of me on my really hard and emotional journey of battling a mental illness. And through my psychologist, I learnt about my anxiety and how bad it actually was. Because I just thought it was me, all these things. It was just, it was, I just thought, oh, that's just Lou. But really, it wasn't me. And I felt really alone, really, really alone. And I couldn't really open up to anyone. And even when I went to my psychologist, I found that I just couldn't say like everything, because I thought I was just really fucking crazy, like really, really crazy. And I was like, I better not say that, because they might take me away in a white van, or they might, put a mark next to my name. And I would go to the sessions, and I would, hi Diana, thanks for watching. I'm just sharing my story of where I've come from and where the Anxiety Project started. So I got a bit sidetracked then. Yeah, I couldn't open up. I couldn't open up to my partner. I couldn't open up to my friends. I couldn't even open up to my psychologist. But I'd keep going because something was just not working. And so I'd been trying all these different therapies. I ended up going on medication. I was really, really proactive in what I was given in my sessions, and trying really, really hard to sort the shit out, sort my head out. I tried really hard. But it just was in waves. I'd try it and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And then I'd be like, yes, I'm getting through this. This is happening. And then the next week it would just go down, and then things would trigger me, and I'd just turn into a downward spiral, and I'd be like, oh, it's not better, it's not working. Okay, well, maybe I didn't do it properly. And then I'd start beating myself up that I wasn't doing it properly, or it would make my anxiety worse, because I felt like even the things that the professionals were giving me weren't working, so there's something really, really wrong with me. And I battled this in my head for years. So, 9 years I saw a psychologist, and it was the same battle. But deep down I thought, okay, I'm paying for this session. I need to get value out of it. I have to keep going. I have to commit. But if I'm really honest, I wasn't getting anywhere. It was just Band-Aids. And it was really hard, because out there in the mental health realm of support, there was just like a one-size-fits-all solution. It was a one-size-fits-all, and I felt I was just a really, really whacked out type of person because nothing was working for me. And it made it even lonelier and scarier, and and I didn't know what else to do. And I got to this breaking point at the start of 2018 where I would actually look, to my family and thought, okay, well, they're not making me happy. They're not making me happy, or maybe I'm with the wrong person. And then I thought, what? Like, how can they make me happy when I don't even know what makes me happy? And it was like this big light bulb moment, and I just thought, holy shit, like, I need to figure this out. I need to figure out what makes me happy. And I unknowingly took myself down this path of figuring out who I was, because the truth was, I didn't have a fucking clue who I was. And even after trying all these things to help myself, and it wasn't working, I turned inward, and again, without knowing, took myself down this path and found the root cause to my anxiety. And I'll never ever forget it. It was the 12th of April at 11:07, and I found the root cause to my anxiety, and it has changed my life. And this is where I had this moment of, I need to share this with the world. I need to share this because there is another way. There is another way to sort out your anxiety. And what I'd realised was each and every single one of us is so different in every way. So this one-size-fits-all solution isn't going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to help. It's going to put some band-aids here and put some band-aids there. But it's not going to work for everybody. And, I think what I'd learnt was anxiety, it's important. And this is where I guess my new evening, Julian, thanks for joining us. And Diana, what was the root cause to my anxiety? That you were unhappy? No, it wasn't that I was unhappy. It was that I had a fear of rejection. But it wasn't just that. The root cause to my anxiety was I had a fear of rejection about my mum. And I didn't know. I didn't have a relationship with her. But my whole life I'd been shutting her out. But the truth was, when I really got honest with myself, I did want that relationship. I did, but I was so fearful of getting rejected even more. And I think this is where this new perspective comes in, and what I had learnt about anxiety was when you've got anxiety, you get so caught up in what's right and what's wrong, and and keeping up with the Joneses and fitting in, and you get so caught up because anxiety is that it's that feeling of like I can't do the wrong thing, I can't miss out, I can't be rejected, I can't be seen, I can't be judged. There's so much to anxiety, but for every single one of us, it's so different. Yet the stigma out there, it's like, this is anxiety, these are solutions, boom. And so sometimes when we don't fit in that box doesn't fit on us because we're so different. And this is what I learned through this journey. We are so different. And one-size-fits-all solutions aren't going to work. I believe that. I am a huge advocate for... it can, Julian, it can be so crippling, debilitating. Anxiety is debilitating. And but what people ask me, what does anxiety look like for you? What does it feel like. And what I learnt now, at the time, I didn't realise how bad anxiety was affecting my life. Now that I'm out, every single day, I'm reminded about how much anxiety controlled my life, because I would remember and see the difference from having anxiety to not, because I'd catch myself saying, oh, usually I'd react like this, or usually I'd care about this, or I'd read into this, or I would, and anxiety looks like something different. It feels like something different for every single one of us. And I think it's really important for me to share this perspective, because I know how lonely and scary it can be in your head. And when you've got these solutions out there and these therapies. And as I said, I'm a huge advocate for all of this, because every single one of us can be on a different level in our mental health journey. And that's so important that we respect that and acknowledge that this type of solution isn't going to fit for that person. And that's okay. And that's what I'd learned. It's okay for you not to gel with this, not to gel with that. And this is where I want to talk about today, is that you finding yourself and you finding confidence in yourself. And in order for you to do that, you need to find out who you are and what works for you. And it's a very hard thing to do, because our ego does get, in front of us, because it has been for our whole lives. And that ego, because it is who we are, and it has been who we are, we just think, oh, but then if I change, like, people aren't going to like me, and the anxiety kicks in of being rejected and being judged, or being someone that's not going to stick to their word, or we've got these just constant, what I call like the black dog in your head going, row, 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 well, don't do that, or don't say that, or don't forget about this. And that's what I felt like. And so what does anxiety look like and feel like to me? Now that I've gone through it and I can look back, it's like the real me inside my body grabbing at my strings inside, going, my anxiety comes when I'm not being myself. When I'm not being true to who I am. It's anxiety pulling those strings because it feels uncomfortable. The anxiety comes because it's saying to you, don't do that, don't say that, stand up for yourself. But how can we do that without knowing who we are? It's like such a weird, and this is my personal journey, and it's very important for me to share, because it is so personal for each and every one of us. And so what I'd learnt was that by getting truly honest with myself, and what we can all do is, if we're honest with ourselves, we can truly find who we are and build that confidence so that we can say no, so that we can stick up for ourselves, so that we can back ourselves. But that confidence won't come until we learn about ourselves, right? It's like anything. It's like if you start a new job and you're being trained, you're not going to get confident in that role until you learn all the things. Because if you don't know all the things, and someone comes to you and is like, oh yeah, you're the new, marketing manager, can you please draw up this, sign for me, about my department? Just for example, a really shit example. That marketing manager, she needs to know about the department and what the story is, and what they're trying to achieve about this sign. In order for her to be confident in nailing this sign, right, she needs to know all the information. She needs to educate herself. It's the same as us. How can we have confidence in ourselves when we don't even know who we are? Isn't that, it's just like, it makes so much sense. And in order for us to find out who we are, we need to take the time. And this is what I learned and I had done unknowingly. And when I one of the things I did, and I'll share, I've got a worksheet for you guys to use. I call it like the no bullshit emotional download. So it's a download of the emotions of how you feel about yourself. And you may have done this in, there's all different types of forms. But this is looking at every single aspect of your life. So how do I feel as a mum? How do I feel as a sister? How do I feel as a work colleague, as a business owner, as a sister, a brother? How do I feel as a daughter, as a son? How do I truly feel about myself? Because something that's quite interesting, which I learnt through my journey, was think about when you've learnt about emotions. Learn. Can you remember being at school and learning about emotions? Like, the only thing that I remember about learning about emotions was that chart with all the faces on it. And that was, I think, in year 2. There was like a poster on the door. And it's like, oh yeah, that's the emotions chart. That's it. Like let's just stop and think about that. Like, the country is being run by people. People are run by emotions. Yet no one teaches us about emotions. When we grow up in the families and in the what do you call it? Like not the decades, the different generations. There we go. Our generational upbringings, they're all so different, like so different. And our parents, they learnt a certain way. They learnt less about emotions, like big time. It's like, you're a man, you work hard, you shut up, and you be strong. You're a woman, you make babies, cook, clean, and shut your mouth. Okay? And yes, I'm not saying this is for everyone, because again, everyone's different, but in the general sense. So they're not there to teach us emotions. Our teachers didn't know the emotions, or it wasn't on the curriculum, or whatever it is. And so yet we're being brought up with this stigmatized sense or vibe of these are positive emotions and these are negative emotions. Like, I'm sorry, but like that really grinds my gears. It grinds my gears because there is nothing. There is positive and negative emotions. No, they're not positive, they're not negative. They are emotions, and every single one of them are important. Every single one of them are important. And us learning how we feel and sitting in those feelings. I'm getting a bit woo-woo on you, and I'm not a woo-woo type, but I think I'm getting more woo-woo as I get older. Like every single emotion is important because it makes us who we are. And it enables us, if we can sit and stop and look at our emotions and feel it and learn about it, we can then teach our kids, the next generation, something that we didn't have, something that our parents didn't have. We could be the ones that teach our parents. And that's what I've learned and I'm doing now. With my mum and with my dad, I've taken off my ego and I'm like, hang on, these guys missed out on something. We now are in a world where we can really talk about this shit and it feels good, and I'm just like, yes, how good is it that we can encourage this? Exactly what you guys are doing at Happiness Go. It's brilliant. And it's just, I just love it, but let's use this. And and for us, the ones that can get out and can, that have the strength, because I know when you're in it, you don't have the strength because you're so fucking tired from all the anxiety and all the deep shit. But when you're out, and if you're out, let's use this. And that's exactly, that was a long story, wasn't it? Where the Anxiety Project was born. Because I need to watch the time, don't I? 30 minutes. I realised, like, no one's talking about the real deep shit and the stuff that you can really connect on. I couldn't connect with my psychologist, and I know everyone's different, everyone finds different. I am completely understanding of that, but for me personally, I couldn't connect with my psychologist because I don't know if she's had anxiety, I don't know if she's been depressed, like, does she really know what's going on in my head? Again, you've still got these barriers because you're scared, because you don't know, because you can't connect. And the Anxiety Project was born because that I felt like there needs to be people that talk about the deep, real, crazy shit that goes on in your head and share journeys like this and like a lot of you guys are doing, which is just so beautiful and awesome. And sorry, there's a few questions here. I'll just see. Invisibility. Yes. Saying mental health and self-care need to be taught in school. It's so true. It needs to be, and I think it's scarier now because we're seeing the problems of anxiety and depression in younger and younger in kids. And what we can do is educate the parents on how to support them and to let them know that everyone's different in their journey. Everyone's anxiety looks different. And that's what I learned. It's different and it's okay. So when I talk about this no bullshit emotional download, by you downloading how you feel about yourself, you can then learn what areas are important to you. So if you're feeling shit about, about being a mum, or you feel like you're not being as good a friend, like, by you downloading this information and stopping and looking at it, when it's written down, it makes it real. It really makes it real. And out of your head, out of all the crazy stuff that's going on in your head, it makes it real. And it's really powerful. And the second practical exercise that you can take away from tonight, and I've got a download that you guys can have. Again, I'll put the links up in the comment box later, is finding what makes you happy. Something that I did, and I've got it here. When I got to that point of, hang on, I don't even know who I am, and then, hang on a second, what actually makes me happy? What makes me happy? Have you ever stopped and asked yourself what makes you happy and actually written it down? Because I think when we've got anxiety especially, we get so caught up in what should make you happy. And this is a big, passion of mine when it comes to first-time mums or mums in general, this stigma of becoming a mum and how you should feel about that. And it's like a really, really scary, because when you first become, if you're a mum, this may resonate, it may not. Like for me, becoming a mum, there are these immediate expectations of, you need to enjoy it, you'll connect, you blah 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 blah, and because you've got the outside world or what you see or what you're surrounded by of everyone's loving it. They're connecting with their baby. They've got their shit together. They're taking, selfies with their baby at the beach. Like, how the fuck do you even get to the beach? And that's, and so we're surrounded by this, everyone's got their shit together. Yet deep down, it's just like, I'm not enjoying this. Like, I'm not into motherhood. I'm so grateful that I can have kids. I just love my boys. But motherhood isn't that fun. And not many people talk about it. And this, I think, needs to change, because just because you don't enjoy motherhood doesn't mean you're a bad parent, doesn't mean you love your kids any less, does not mean that. It's so important that we talk about it so that we can help others not feel alone and not get them into that state of postnatal depression, postnatal anxiety. Because that's where it starts, because the second guessing and like, oh look, I don't have my shit, how can they go on the beach, I can't go to the beach, that's just too hard, I can't even leave the house. So more of us talking about the reality of life, right? Reality of life. Let's talk about this shit. Let's get real. I think it's so important that we get real. So, sorry, tangent, good at tangents. So yeah, I said to myself, what makes me happy? And so I ended up writing it down. I'm not sure if that's backwards or not. I'm at my happiest when. And I removed the expectation. Like, oh, I should have on there, I'm at my happiest when I'm bathing my children or playing with them. That's the expectation that in your head you're like, I think I should put that down. This isn't about that. This is about you. Because if you can find your happy, if you can be happy in your life, right? If you can do something that lights you up, you will be happier in all other aspects of your life. You will. You naturally will, because you'll get that bloody boost of like, shit, yeah. And so I wrote down what makes me happy. And how did I do it? I'll give you guys a link so you can download this little worksheet that I did for you. Like, think about the moments and then come back to that emotions that I was talking about. Think about emotions. Like, what? Those feelings that you're just like, oh, how good is it? Like on here, I've got like, I feel good when I nail a purchase. When I nail a bloody bargain, that feels good. I'm going to write it on here. Because there is, again, that expectation of like, oh, well, if you put down there about, when you get paid, that means you're focused on money. So when you've got anxiety, I'm not sure who has it, but I know from my personal experience, my anxiety, I would think what I really feel, and then boom, the black dog was like, you shouldn't put that, don't put that, That's like the black dog's my anxiety going, rah! So you don't, because there's this deeper need that you're trying to find, and you're trying to conform to fit in, to be accepted, and so you're doing all these things. But write down, I'm at my happiest when, and write it down from you, from your heart, with no one else. What else have I got? I'm like, when I nail purchase, I feel good when I'm making other people feel better. When I'm learning about business, when I'm at the beach, when I receive encouragement, like all the things, but you do you, not the outside. And if you're about to write something down and you catch yourself, say, hang on, that's just what I think I should write down. What really makes me happy? Those fun, warm, fuzzy feelings. It's the same as, I think when I wrote down here, when I get paid, or when we get paid, like that makes you, when you see, you've got paid in your bank account, you're like, for that small second before you pay all the bills, that feels good, doesn't it? Because you've worked hard and you get it, and you're just like, shit, yeah. And so how does this relate to finding yourself, to finding confidence? It relates because, as I talked about before, you can't get that true confidence if you don't know who you are. If if you don't know what lights you up. And we get caught up in, you know, these, whether it's a trend, whether it's words that we attach to, for instance, like self-care, you know, in our heads, it's like, oh, well, you know, in order to make myself happy, I need a self-care, I need to care about myself. Self-care, when you think self-care, what do you think? Automatically, it's like yoga, meditation, taking time out, you know, exercising. So there's, again, this attachment that we associate the word self-care, the action of self-care, naturally we attach it. So even if you look on Pinterest or wherever, you know, type in self-care, there'll be, you know, breathing, meditation, you know, and all these things are great. But do you know what? Do you know what's scary, and what I used to do for so long, and I think a lot of people do, is we think that we need to do those things in order to care for ourselves. But again, we're putting on someone else's, you know, experience, someone else's feelings, someone else's emotions that ain't gonna fit for us. And this is so important. Same as anxiety. Anxiety is different for everyone. The solutions for people with anxiety is different for everyone. How people find happiness is different for everyone. Everything's different because we're all so different. And so for me, you know, when I would work and when I'd keep busy and when I'd be doing all the things, everyone's like, Lou, you need to chill out, you need to calm down, like you're gonna run down, you're gonna run yourself down, you need to calm down. Everyone like, fucking Lou, calm down. But do you know what? Do you know what I learnt? I learnt that for me, my self-care, me chilling out, my chill out is working. And now that I know who I am, and now that I know what lights me up, and now that I know that I'm not here to please others or, you know, fit in or gain that, you know, acceptance, now that I know and learnt about that, I'm confident in owning my shit and owning that that's what I love to do and I'm going to do it. And so these few exercises that I'm sharing in these practical steps, it's just the start and I guess my story that I'm sharing, and I hope this helps and I hope it's resonating. Give me a thumbs up if you're lost as fuck or you're like, Lou, what are you talking about? It's just a fresh perspective and someone that's been there and been through it and tried all the things. And also know, like, everyone's so different. Everyone has their own journey, and the empathy and compassion, respect that you need to have for those people is so important too. And I think as you learn to find yourself and find that confidence and spend the time to learn about yourself. How many times have I said learn? You will naturally gain that confidence and find who you are. And after you've done these 2 steps, it's about applying it, trying your version 1. Try your version 1 of adding in from, you know, what makes you happy, make me happiest when. Start to make time for that. Because the more you practice it, the more you'll be confident in it. The more it'll build, it'll build that good feeling. And also know that it may not too. So at that moment, it may make you happy and later on it might not. And that's awesome. It's awesome because you know what? You're learning and you're finding out what works and what doesn't, because every single day, every single week, month, the shit that you go through in your life, the conversations that you have, the people you meet, you will change. You just do. And I think we get so scared and caught up with, oh, but that was me, so I can't like try this new thing or try this new trait, or, you know, oh, it's getting dark, isn't it? I don't know what's happening here. Woo! It's a bit light. We can just go in the dark. Is everyone okay with that? I have to wrap it up anyway. So, practical step 1, do a no bullshit emotional download. Find out what you truly feel about yourself. And it could be confronting. And I remember doing it and I was just like, wow, I don't think I don't like myself. And it's really scary. I don't like, and it was a big wake-up call for me. And I think it helped me acknowledge that the anxiety is there because I'm not being who I am, but in order to find who I am, I need to figure out and learn about why I am the way I am now. And so this emotional download will help you get that shit out so that you've got a starting point of what you can do, because you've got a problem, right? That problem is like, wow, I don't feel good about myself, or wow, this part of my life is just not good, or what can I work on? Because there's no point finding a solution when you don't know what the problem is, when you don't know what the feelings are, when you're not learning about it. And so then the second practical step is find what makes you happy so that you can start implementing that into your life. And it will take time and it will be uncomfortable. And you know what? Like, you find you. And the moment that you do, you'll start to build that confidence and feel excited. And the third step is to apply it. Just start. Version 1, small steps. So it's like my day, I split it up into 3. And again, this is me. You do you. You figure out what works for you. The things that are important to me in my day, so that I don't get overwhelmed, so I'm not got 500 million things to do. I pick one thing from each aspect of my life that's important, that I love. So my family in the home, not that I like doing like dishes or washing or anything, but the shit needs to get done. I like after it. After I do it, I like the feeling. So I've got, family and home, I've got business, and then I've got me. And I used to be worried about saying that I do stuff for myself because I'm like worried that I'm going to seem up myself or selfish, or, because that's what I used to think. The black dog would come out and be like, don't be selfish, don't do anything for yourself, you have to do everything for someone else. But what I'd learnt through learning who I was and gaining that confidence was, I know I'm a kind person. I put people first all the time because I love to do it. But in order for me to do that and do that fully, I need to be happy. And in order for me to be happy, I need to figure out what makes me happy. And then when I've figured out what makes me happy, I need to start putting that into my life so then I can do all the other fun shit. It's like this cycle of awesomeness. This is like getting like, I'm going to tell you a story. Anyway. So, I hope that's given you a new perspective. I know I'm nearly at 50 minutes, so I better wrap it up. Are there any questions or anything at all before the light really goes down on me? I don't really... Oh, that's bad. We can have a disco. Doo, doo, doo. Okay. I'm just getting silly. So, any questions? I hope that's resonated. I'll just go back through to mental health with emotions. That's awesome. Schools need to teach. School does need to teach about emotions and mindfulness. Love this, Lou. Oh, thanks, Sam. I hope you guys are getting something out of today. And again, it's just a different perspective, a new perspective. You may have heard it before, but just wanting to share this with you, share my part of my journey. It was a long journey and a hard one, but yeah, I've come out the other side and here to help others. So I'm welcome to the story, ghost telling stories. Look at this lighting, it's really funny, isn't it? So yeah, give me a thumbs up or a love heart or any questions, otherwise I'll wrap it up. And a big thank you to Happiness Aid and everyone behind it. I know a lot of work has gone into it, and you guys are doing such an awesome job to bring and to connect people together. So yeah, make sure you, if you haven't already, go and give them a big bloody high five and love, because you guys are all absolute legends. And we'll go, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Oh, there we go. Woo! Oh, thanks, Rach. And yeah, I'll put the links up in, I'll just put it up in the group here. Yeah, I'll do that. So once I've stopped it, I'll put the links up to the 2 documents. And yeah, please send me a DM if you've got any questions or feedback, or if you've got any questions on the downloads that I put up for you guys. I'm here to answer and support you and support anyone. So yeah, shoot me a DM or PM or whatever you call it. And I will wrap it up if there's no questions.